Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Cursed Magnetic Needle. Prologue. The Isle of Wight, a place shrouded in mist and legend, had long been whispered about in the tales of sailors and explorers. Stories of hidden treasures, ghostly apparitions, and ancient curses permeated the folklore. Holly Arnold, a seasoned navigator with a thirst for adventure, found herself irresistibly drawn to these tales. It was during one of her routine expeditions that she stumbled upon an artifact that would change her life forever, a magnetic needle, unlike any she had seen before, housed within a withered compass. The needle did not point north. Instead, it seemed to have a life of its own, spinning wildly before settling in a direction that led to the heart of the Isle of Wight. As Holly gazed at the needle, she felt a chill run down her spine, a premonition of the darkness that lay ahead. Chapter 1: The Needle's Call. Holly Arnold was not easily swayed by superstition, but the compass intrigued her. She had found it in an old maritime shop, buried beneath layers of dust and forgotten trinkets. The shopkeeper, an old man with eyes that seemed to see too much, had warned her. "That compass is not for the faint of heart," he had said, his voice a gravelly whisper. "It points to something best left undisturbed," but Holly, driven by curiosity and the promise of adventure, ignored the warning. She set sail for the Isle of Wight, determined to uncover whatever secrets the island held. As her boat cut through the fog, the needle remained steady, guiding her to an uncharted part of the island. Chapter 2: The Descent Begins. The beach where Holly landed was desolate, the sand grey and cold. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the distant cawing of crows. Holly secured her boat and consulted the compass. The needle pointed inland, towards a dense forest that seemed to swallow the light. With each step Holly took, the forest grew darker, the trees closing in around her. The needle's pull grew stronger, almost as if it were alive, guiding her deeper into the heart of the island. As night fell, Holly made camp, though sleep eluded her. She felt eyes watching her from the shadows, unseen yet palpable. Chapter 3: Whispers of the Past. The next morning, Holly awoke to find strange symbols carved into the trees around her camp. They were ancient and unfamiliar, filled with a sense of foreboding. She pressed on, the compass leading her to a clearing where the remains of an old stone structure lay half buried in the earth. As she explored the ruins, she uncovered a stone tablet covered in the same symbols she had seen earlier. But it was an old journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. The entries told of an ancient civilization that had once thrived on the island, only to be wiped out by a curse they had unleashed in a greed for power. The journal's final entry was a warning: "Beware the needle that points the way, for it leads not to treasure, but to doom." Chapter 4: Shadows in the Dark. Holly's resolve wavered as she read the journal, but she couldn't turn back now. The needle's pull was irresistible. She followed it further into the forest, where the trees grew twisted and gnawed, their branches like skeletal hands reaching out to her. As dusk approached, Holly stumbled upon an ancient burial ground. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the ground was uneven, covered in roots and bones. The compass needle pointed directly to the center of the burial ground, where a large stone sarcophagus lay covered in moss and vines. As Holly approached the sarcophagus, she felt a deep rumbling beneath her feet. The ground shook, and a cold wind howled through the trees. The lid of the sarcophagus began to move, slowly sliding open. Holly stepped back, her heart pounding. Chapter 5: Awakening the Ancient Evil. From the sarcophagus emerged a figure shrouded in darkness, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The air grew colder, and Holly could feel the life being sucked out of the forest around her. The figure spoke in a voice that echoed with centuries of malice. "Who dares to disturb my rest?" Holly tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. The figure stepped forward, revealing itself to be a spectre of the ancient civilization described in the journal. It was the source of the curse, an entity of pure evil that had been sealed away to protect the world. "The needle brought you here," the spectre said, its voice dripping with venom. "You have awakened me, and now you will pay the price." Chapter 6: The Fight for Survival. Holly turned and ran, the forest coming alive with the spectre's power. Trees uprooted themselves, blocking her path, and the ground split open, trying to swallow her whole. The needle and the compass spun wildly, its guidance now a tormenting mockery. Desperation gave Holly strength. She remembered the symbols from the journal, realizing they held the key to sealing the spectre away once more. She raced back to the stone structure, the spectre close behind, its wrath shaking the very earth. With trembling hands, Holly traced the symbols on the stone tablet, chanting the words from the journal. The spectre screamed image, its form flickering as the ancient magic took hold. The ground beneath the structure opened up, forming a vortex that began to pull the spectre in. Chapter 7: The Aftermath. As the spectre was sucked back into the earth, the forest fell silent. The oppressive darkness lifted, replaced by a calm, eerie stillness. Holly collapsed to the ground, exhausted but alive. The compass lay beside her, its needle now pointing north, its curse broken. Holly returned to her book, the island's secrets still lingering in her mind. She had survived the journey, but she knew the spectre was not truly gone. The curse remained, waiting for another soul to awaken it. Chapter 8: A New Discovery. Years passed, and the tale of Holly Arnold's adventure became another legend among the many that shrouded the Isle of Wight. The old maritime shop continued to change hands, each owner guarding the compass with whispered warnings. The island remained an enigma, its secrets buried deep within its cursed soil. Emily Hayes was a young historian with a fascination for nautical legends. She had heard of the mysterious compass from a colleague and was determined to uncover its history. When she finally found the maritime shop, now run by a withered old sailor named Jack, she felt the sense of destiny. Jack eyed Emily warily as she inquired about the compass. "I've seen that look before," he muttered. "You're not the first to be drawn to it." Emily listened to Jack's story, but her curiosity overpowered her caution. Despite his warnings, she purchased the compass, feeling an inexplicable connection to it. That night, as she studied it in her small apartment, the needle began to spin, finally settling on a direction that filled her with both excitement and dread. Chapter 9: A Familiar Path. Emily arrived on the Isle of Wight on a bright, sunny day, a stark contrast to the tales of fog and gloom she had heard. The compass led her to the same desolate beach where Holly had once landed. She secured her boat and followed the needle into the forest, the trees whispering secrets of their own. As she ventured deeper, the forest grew darker, the air colder. The compass's pull was strong, almost hypnotic. Emily stumbled upon the same stone structure that Holly had discovered years before, now even more overgrown and ancient. She felt a shiver of recognition, as if the island itself remembered her predecessor's journey. Chapter 10: Unearthing the Past. Emily explored the ruins, finding the stone tablet and the journal just as Holly had. She deciphered the symbols and read the entries with growing unease. The final warning echoed in her mind, but unlike Holly, Emily felt a strange compulsion to delve deeper. She followed the compass to the burial ground, the air thick with decay. The sarcophagus lay in wait, its lid slightly ajar. Emily hesitated, the tales of the ancient curse playing in her mind. But the needle's pull was irresistible. With a deep breath, she pushed the lid open. Chapter 11: Confronting the Darkness. The spectre emerged, its glowing eyes filled with malice. Emily stepped back, her heart pounding. "Who dares to disturb my rest?" the spectre hissed, just as it had to Holly. Emily stood her ground, the journal clutched in her hand. "I know your story," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. "I know the curse and how it can be broken." The spectre laughed, a sound like the howling wind. "Many have tried, but none have succeeded. The curse binds me to this land, and it binds you as well." Emily's mind raced. She had to think of something different, something Holly hadn't tried. She realized the compass itself was the key. The needle's movements were not random, they were a map, a guide to something deeper. Chapter 12: The True Treasure. Emily studied the compass, watching the needle spin and settle. It pointed not to the sarcophagus, but to a small man nearby, almost hidden by the overgrown roots. She dug frantically, her fingers clawing at the earth until she uncovered a small, ornate box. The spectre watched, its eyes narrowing. "What have you found?" it demanded, its voice laced with anger. Emily opened the box to reveal a gleaming, ancient relic. It pulsed with a warm light, pushing back the darkness. The true treasure, she whispered, understanding dawning upon her. The heart of your civilization. The relic was a symbol of hope and power, something the ancient people had created to protect themselves. Emily held it aloft, its light growing brighter. The spectre recoiled, its form flickering. Chapter 13. Breaking the Curse. With the relic in hand, Emily recited the symbols from the journal, her voice strong and clear. The spectre screamed, its body dissolving into mist. The ground trembled, the burial site collapsing in on itself. The light from the relic enveloped the forest, dispelling the curse that had plagued the island for centuries. The trees straightened, the air cleared, and a sense of peace settled over the land. Emily returned to her boat, the relic safely tucked away. As she sailed back to the mainland, she felt a sense of accomplishment. She had uncovered the truth and broken the cycle, freeing the island from its ancient evil. Epilogue. The maritime shop closed its doors for good, the compass and its needle no longer needed. Emily's discovery became a part of the island's history, a tale of bravery and perseverance. The Isle of Wight was no longer a place of darkness, but a beacon of light and hope. And yet, somewhere in the depths of the island, beneath the ancient soil, the whispers of the past remained. The heart of the island beat steadily, a reminder of the power within, waiting for those brave enough to uncover it. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.